Well, to talk a bit more about this second historic summit with me today, I've got France 24's Doug Herbert on the set. Doug, this meeting's taking place very shortly. More than most summits, though, this seems to be really about these two men, these two huge personalities. And anything can happen when these two get down together, it seems. Does either one of them, though, really have the upper hand?
Well, look, Kim Jong-un was, by popular consensus, the one who really played Trump during the first summit, who really went in much better prepared, knowing this dossier inside and out, all of the nuances of the nuclear dossier, he and his team, because they live and breathe nuclear issues day in and day out. It's part of the sort of survivalist, doctrine of their entire regime. Whereas Trump goes in distracted, a more divided team, different types of points of views on his team. Look, Trump has a Superman theory of all diplomacy, and it doesn't just apply to North Korea. He sincerely sees himself, if you take a journey into his mind, as the singular person capable of saving the world from itself. And when he gets in a room with these men, he sees himself as uniquely having some unique capabilities, some unique talent and aptitude based on his unique gut instinct to make leaders do or persuade leaders to do things that no one previous to him in the White House was able to do. He said it himself that anyone else, if any of his predecessors were right now in the White House, the U.S. would be in, as he put it, a nice big fat war in Asia. Yet the reality is far different than that, because while he brags about his personal chemistry with Kim Jong-un, he talks about the gushing letters that Kim Jong-un has written to him. He even showed one of them off to the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. The White House, some of people have off the record sort of referred to them as almost these love letters. Trump is very flattered by the fact that Kim Jong-un refers to him as Your Excellency, the President. All that flattery aside, I've always said that I doubted Donald Trump ever read the Paris Climate Accord. I doubted that he ever really gave two looks at the Iran nuclear deal. I doubt that he's really at any deeper level plunged into the Iran nuclear dossier. And the fact of the matter is these talks, or whatever they will be, have shifted away from the emphasis on so-called denuclearization, completely shifted the focus now on sort of just peace. And he even said in his State of the Union, the historic push for peace on the Korean Peninsula, not mentioning at all the word denuclearization. That's gone.
And there's another big issue that's not on the table, where a lot of critics have raised this issue, is North Korea's bad human rights record.
Yeah. The Asia director of Human Rights Watch has referred to North Korea as essentially the world's, and saying other people have called it this, the world's biggest open prison camp. North Korea has been excoriated for having zero political opposition, single-party state, communist rule, no civil society, no independent media, severely, atrociously restricting the rights of women, children, people with disabilities, having an entire network and system of forced labor camps, as in exactly what that sounds like it means: forced labor, unpaid labor, mining, logging, the type of stuff you used to hear of in the Soviet Gulag. And we're not talking just a handful of a few dozen political prisoners. We're talking, by some estimates, 80,000 to 120,000 people in these camps. We've talked about food, the people on the brink of starvation, especially in the 90s during the real food crisis there. Well, it hasn't gone away. There's still, by some estimates, when you talk of malnutrition, acute malnutrition among children, maybe some 200,000 children in North Korea acutely malnourished. You can be thrown into prison or labor camp for watching a Western movie, let alone trying to defect to China or to South Korea. This is perhaps one of the most stringent regimes on earth, and it hasn't really changed. So right now there's an irony here that our eyes are riveted on North Korea. Some would say for all the wrong reasons. Nuclear weapons, yes, are extremely important. You can't minimize it. But a lot of people would say that human rights deserve just as much of a shout-out at this summit and really should be one of the main and leading issues. And yet, if you're to listen to a lot of the specialists on the region, Donald Trump's unlikely to really bring it up to any profound degree at all, because he's a transactional president. Human rights are way down on his agenda, if they're even on his radar.
Doug, thank you for that. France 24's Doug Herbert.